All right, so one of the parts that you're going to end up needing, you're going to need one of these here, and you're going to get a M14 by 1.5. Okay, and this is going to be for these holes here. You're going to need to create threads on this hole here. So you're going to open this up and create the threads that you need for the hardware, okay, so that you can bolt this down in this fashion. Okay, so it's okay to use this as a guide. You know, if need be, you can use this as a guide. There's nothing wrong with that. You can use a clamp like this to hold it steady in place, and that way you're sure you're nice and centered, and you can start making your machining that thread in. Okay, so if you guys feel scared and you can't do this, you can always take it to your local machinist and they can help you get this done. Okay, so all right, so make sure that you're using plenty of cutting oil so that your threads come out nice and clean. Now I'm gonna head and remove this here, like nice and clean. Let's move this out the way so you guys can see. And there you are, a perfectly threaded 1.5 by M14 by 1.5 threaded hole right there. And if you look inside here, there's no damage to the bracket itself. It's perfectly fine. This thing is made out of 775 aluminum, so it's pretty sturdy. It has a high tensile strength. Okay, all right, so off we go to our next hole, and we're gonna repeat the process here. We're gonna close this here, and we're gonna move the bracket here and hold it here and do the same thing. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, so and after you're done doing your thread hole, and before you move on to your second one, test it with a bolt. So we have a M14 right here by 1.5, and we're gonna go ahead and test that thread. Okay, should come out all the way through. Okay, it made it all the way through, so that's good. So now what we're going to do, to make sure everything goes together the way it should, we are going to place the bracket on here. We're gonna just snug it down. It doesn't really have to be super tight. I mean, you could do it by hand like me. And now when we do our next hole, okay, start with a nice and clean. I'm trying to get some of that grit out of there. Okay, so now when you start your next hole, your bracket is secured, so you're 100% straight with your tap. Okay, this way you know for a fact that when you go to install it, your hole is not drilled offset or tapped offset, and then you're having trouble, you know, fitting the bracket because your holes are not 100%. Now, so once you center it like I did right there, it's nice and centered. You're gonna go ahead and start it. Me personally, I'll start it with this, but then I really don't like this tool, so I'll just switch over to something like this, and I'll just swap, flip it, do it, flip it, and just keep doing this motion right here until I got it all the way down. And then of course, make sure that you're using plenty of lubricant in your cutting, okay? You don't want your teeth to go in there dry. No one likes that. Well, let me just go ahead and skip that part. But you know what I meant. Nobody likes a dry, you know what. So, all right, here we go, guys. All right, so we are done with our tapping. So remember, after you're done tapping, always run a bolt through it just to make sure everything is good. Yep. Nice and clean. Perfect. Okay. All right. Cool. So. All right. So now that we have this thing tapped, we can move on to test fitting our caliper after clearing the caliper. Okay, so now I'm gonna move some stuff around here. We're going to take the caliper, okay, and we're gonna fit the caliper on here and make sure everything clears. The important thing to look for is the clearance of this. The important thing to look for is making sure that you don't have anything interfering here, okay? All right, so let's go. Let's see, this is our top right here. Around. Okay. Cool. All right, we're looking good. All right, we look good. We cleared it actually fairly well. So now we got to make sure we put our bracket on in the correct way. So this goes here. Okay, let's bolt this down. Side is good. Okay, so it looks like we still need to clear some more of that section. Okay, let me explain what's happened now. So, okay, so this goes in perfect. Okay. So right now, move it. What's happening is we still have not cleared completely our caliper, but we're gonna run this down. So we gotta make sure too that where we're supposed to be. Okay. So right now, we still are pretty far away from getting to where we need to get, and that's because we have some of the, you know, that in that cup area, the corners they're still interfering. So now I have to smooth that corner out so that we can get this caliper to fall in place. Okay, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but when you do yours, you'll be able to tell what's going on. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse this because this is, you know, slow, tedious work, but slow and steady, we'll get it. All right. Okay, run that down. Then we're gonna push this in right here. Oh, might tighten it too much. Okay. I'm trying to get this in here. Okay, so the backing plate is making contact at the bottom here. The backing plate is making contact, that sound. So we need to remove a little bit more material down here at the bottom where the backing plate is so that we can clear. Actually, we might just have to bend the backing plate out of the way like so. Yeah, so we have to either cut right there or bend that out the way a little bit so that we can clear it and make that final connection that we need. Okay. All right, and this is something that I want to make mention of. The IS300, you know, like all OE manufacturers, the casting is going to be different slightly, you know, from year to year or model to model. You know, it all comes down to where these knuckles were casted and, you know, how good they did as far as the casting work. So this thing has like some a large sharp overhang right here. My left side actually didn't have this overhang, but the right knuckle does. So we're gonna have to just clean up this like casting just a little bit, just round this little casting off right here. You see it kind of like protrudes anyways, and also maybe some of the ridge, that sharp edge in that casting right there, we're gonna clean that section up too, so that we can finally get that final. You don't want to continue to remove more and more material here because we're pretty much at our limit. I don't want to remove any more material here and compromise the caliper, so we're just going to go ahead and clean this little rough edges up so that we can have that clearance we're looking for. All right, as you see, we cleaned up that area right there. I would look good, I'm feeling like taking beside of my. All right, so we are completely done. Just wanted to show this is how you would do it. You use that paint marker, you go across right here, you make your mark on that section that you have to remove, and this is what you're left with. All right, so once you start getting close to the edge, this is the time where I switched over to a buffing wheel instead and just smooth this out. You should, as you go, you should test fit, and you'll know exactly how much to remove. So whatever you don't have to remove, just because it has paint on it, don't just take that off, right? So as you can see, there's still some paint on there, very small amount, that actually did not need to be removed, and it worked out just fine. So putting that aside, you have your assembly right here complete. And you can go in and double check that everything holds up and fits like you want it to. right? So you're going to put this in this area here. We're going to place these bad boys here. Like this. Now, under final installation, there are washers that actually go with the kit, but this is just for illustration purposes. So there's no need to do that. Make sure everything goes in nice and smooth by hand. No issues. You can run it in slightly. In there, and there you go. You are 100% completed, and this is what you're left with. All right, this is what you're left with right here. All right, enjoy.